Welcome to Keith Knight, Don't Tread on Anyone. A criticism from both left and right-wing statists is that libertarianism does not recognize the legitimacy of a state which is stable and beneficial. They want the law of the jungle. This is very chaotic. The world is nasty, brutish, and short. We give ourselves a government so we could have some stability. Well, this is an illegitimate criticism. Starting with the Federalist, intervention isn't always bad. Of course it's not. There's a show called Intervention where people have an intervention and sometimes help drug addicts and alcoholics get off drugs and drastically improve their lives. Of course, intervening isn't bad. You know, someone's in a bad relationship and you intervene. Libertarians are not against intervention. They're against the initiation of aggression. What he is equivocating here is government intervention with anyone intervening. Libertarians are so skeptical of any power. It's not true. We believe people have the right to freedom of speech, which means some people will have power over others. For example, if Kanye West tweets something, millions of people know about it, and he's able to drastically affect how the culture operates and how many millions of people think. If he wants people to talk about Thomas Sowell, he just took a screenshot of someone who texted him a Thomas Sowell quote, and then Thomas Sowell is trending. That's an immense amount of power, and it's voluntary, so libertarians don't have a problem with that. You have the right to grow a business. You have the right to be very, very influential. You just don't have the right to initiate aggression. So that's just made up. We're not against power. However minimal, that they have forgotten power can be used skillfully for the greater good, and that without any authority exerted over society, the law of the jungle applies. So I already went over the power thing. As far as authority goes, this appears to be another equivocation. By authority, we simply mean the right to initiate aggression against peaceful people is what we're against. So for the same reason you might not recognize the Church of Scientology as having the right to coercively rule over other people, we just hold government to the same standards we would hold them to. They have the right to peacefully contract. They have the right to defend themselves. They have the right to acquire property, yada, yada. We just don't have any double standards for the state. That is a right-wing statist criticism. On the left, we have capitalism is the extraordinary belief that the nastiest of men for the nastiest of motives will somehow work for the benefit of all. Well, that is true. What happens is people go to seek their own self-interest, and so long as they can only do so in a voluntary way that respects private property, the foundation of capitalism, the way to acquire lots of wealth and influence is to meet consumer demand by offering them products and services and offering them a better deal, offering employees a better deal to come work for you, offering customers a better deal. It's all about voluntary trade and actually pleasing and cooperating with other people, far from it only being about competition. So here are some quotes by Murray and Rothbard. I have assisted the quotes with a number of examples of how it's not the free market and voluntary exchange that yields this chaotic law of the jungle. The law of the jungle is, and life being nasty, brutish, and short, is actually the result of statism, the belief in authority, and a lack of recognition of private property and the non-aggression principle and voluntary contract. Starting with Murray Rothbard from Man, Economy, and State. The great modern accumulation of capital goods is an inheritance from all the net savings of our ancestors. Without them, we would, regardless of the quality of our own moral character, be living in a primitive jungle. Businesses are always eager for consumers to buy their product or service. On the free market, the consumer is king or queen, and the providers are always trying to make profits and gain customers by serving them well. But when government operates a service, the customer is transmuted into a pain in the neck, a wasteful user-up of scarce social resources. Whereas the free market is a peaceful, cooperative place where everyone benefits and no one loses, when government supplies the product or service, every consumer is treated as using a resource only at the expense of his fellow man. The public service arena, and not the free market, is the dog-eat-dog jungle. This is correct. when we have democracy, government has about $4 trillion at its expense every year. People are constantly fighting over how that $4 trillion should be spent. Some say it should be welfare. No, it should be on healthcare. No, it should be on food stamps. No, it should be on military. Politicians should be getting paid more or less. Which, according to the theory of government is this peaceful thing we have, there should be, pretty much no disputes about how government should do things because we all get a vote. And the opposite, of course, is true. It turns into a dog-eat-dog jungle, quite literally sometimes. The free market, in fact, is precisely the diametric opposite of the jungle society. The jungle is characterized by the war of all against all. One man gains only at the expense of another by seizure of the latter's property. With all on a subsistence level, there is a true struggle for survival, with the stronger force crushing the weaker. In the free market, on the other hand, one man gains only through serving another. The fit in the jungle are the most adept at the exercise of brute force. The fit in the market are those most adept in the service of society. The jungle is a brutish place where some seize from others and all live at the starvation level. The market is a peaceful and productive place where all serve themselves and others at the same time and live at an infinitely higher levels of consumption. In the jungle, some gain only at the expense of others. On the market, everyone gains. It is the market, the contractual society that wrests order out of chaos, that subdues nature and eradicates the jungle, that permits the weak to live productively or out of gifts from production in a regal society compared to the life of the strong in the jungle. Again, we have more instances of chaos and the law of the jungle being applied far more to the state than it does to the free market. It is precisely statism that is bringing back the rule of the jungle, bringing back conflict, disharmony, caste struggle, conquest, and war of all against all, and general poverty. In place of the peaceful struggle of competition in mutual service, statism substitutes calculational chaos and the death struggle of social Darwinist competition for political privilege and for political subsistence. Any society of force, whether ruled by criminal bands or by an organized state, fundamentally means the rule of the jungle or economic chaos. Furthermore, it would be a jungle, a struggle in the sense of the social Darwinists, in which the survivors would not really be the fittest, for the fitness of the victors would consist solely in their ability to prey on producers. They would not be the ones best fitted for advancing the human species. These are the producers, the conquerors of nature. Government meddling with money has not only brought untold tyranny into the world, it has also brought chaos, not order. It has fragmented the peaceful, productive world market and shattered it into 1,000 pieces, with trade and investment hobbled and hampered by myriad restrictions, controls, artificial rates, currency breakdowns, etc. It has helped bring about wars by transforming a world of peaceful intercourse into a jungle of warring currency blocks. In short, we find that coercion in money, as in other matters, brings not order, but conflict and chaos. Man is born naked into the world and needing to use his mind to learn how to take the resources given to him by nature and to transform them, for example, by investment in capital, into shapes and forms and places where the resources can be used for the satisfaction of his wants and the advancement of his standard of living. The only way by which man can do this is by the use of his mind and energy to transform resources production and to exchange these products for products created by others. Man has found that through the process of voluntary mutual exchange, the productivity and hence the living standards of all participants in exchange may increase enormously. The only natural course for man to survive and to attain wealth, therefore, is by using his mind and energy to engage in the production and exchange process. He does this first by finding natural resources and then by transforming them, by mixing labor with them, as Locke puts it, to make them his individual property, and then by exchanging his property for the similarly obtained property of others. The social path dictated by the requirements of man's nature, therefore, is the path of property rights and the free market of gift or exchange of such rights. Through this path, men have learned how to avoid the jungle methods of fighting over scarce resources. Tribalism, not capitalism, is the rule of the jungle, for warfare and extermination of the unfit is the only way that some of the tribes can keep alive. It is the capitalist market economy, which increases resources by mutual benefit, that is able to bypass the rule of the jungle and to rise above such animal-like existence to the status of advanced civilizations and amicable relations among men. The market, therefore, is preeminently social, and the rest of the social consists of other voluntary exchanges, friendly, non-market relations, which also, however, are best conducted on the basis of a spiritual exchange and mutual gain. Thank you for watching Keith Knight, Don't Tread on Anyone. Please remember, the number one cause of chaos, the number one cause of mass murder and starvation is the state, not the market. Also, any criticism you could have of voluntarily funded competition applies tenfold to a coercively funded monopoly. Oh, but wars might start. Well, do governments cause wars? Do governments murder people? Please. Thank you for watching Keith Knight, Don't Tread on Anyone.